Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Trainz Railroad Simulator, Trainz 2022. And today we're going to be taking a look at a familiar site. Matter of fact, I've looked at one version of this already, but this is a different version. It's a freeware version. Everything in it is freeware. Everything is available. To best of my knowledge, I only managed to not find one single asset. Everything else I managed to find, so I'm going to kick it off. So, the familiar site, I'm sure many of you rail fans are familiar with. We're at Strasburg again. Yes sir, Strasburg Railroad. Strasburg, a little bit of history. Strasburg is probably one of... But Strasburg is probably one of the United States' best known heritage railroads. Standard gauge wise, Strasburg's definitely up there in terms of fame, alongside of places like the Durango and Silverton and Cumberson Tultic, maybe White Pass. It's just one of those big names that every railroader in the U.S. really knows something about. Strasburg is one of the oldest heritage operations in the United States. It is located in central eastern Pennsylvania, out in the Amish country. Fairly scenic for the most part if you're into seeing the farmlands of eastern Pennsylvania. Again, it's pretty much all Amish country out there. Strasburg is home to the Strasburg Railroad and the Railroad Museum of Pennsylvania. They share the same trackage. They're obviously directly across from each other. And Strasburg is also a small freight operation. They are a small freight carrier. They do still service the local farms and industries of the surrounding area. Strasburg offers passenger trips along their line year-round. And what else? What else is there to tell about Strasburg? Strasburg offers their services in steam locomotive restoration. We have seen a few famous faces, and we've seen a few not so famous faces end up at Strasburg for restoration to be sent back to wherever. We've seen some faces like Norfolk and Western 611. Infamous J-Class spent a hot minute at Strasburg not terribly long ago. And in recent news, it sounds like Strasburg's going to be helping out with a Chesapeake and Ohio restoration. Sounds fun. Sounds entertaining. Might be something we get to see in the near future. The C&O operating on Strasburg's trackage be kind of different, but we'll see. So, this is a freeware. This is the freeware version by SRR 89. The user actually was kind enough to put his name over here, SRR 89. Of course, I'll put the link to where you can pick this route up in my description. But like I said earlier, I have taken a look at Strasburg before. However, I took a look at the payware version from Fired Up Trainz. And I tried to fiddle with that today. I noticed a bunch of assets were not playing correctly, and kind of got me curious, and I went diving around to see what I could find to resolve such issues, and instead I found a whole ass route. So now I had remembered somebody some time ago saying something about this version being available. I'm pretty sure I was told it was on the download station, and every version of Strasburg I found on the download station is dated, to say the least. So yeah, I kind of forgot it, but hey, I managed to find what I'm looking for. So let's take a look around. Now, right off the bat, for the most part, it is pretty true to scale. Lots of Strasburg assets have been used that have been around a little bit. We've seen a time or two, but you can't have Strasburg without them if you're aiming for today's build. So, of course, we've got the Railroad Museum across the way there. The tower over here, the train station, the little village, where Strasburg shops over here. All of that is represented nicely. The miniature railroad has been attempted, as you can see. It's not quite done up correctly. It's definitely not to scale, but then again, I don't know that we really have anything to scale for Trainz. But it is there for representation, so that's nice. I don't know that the fired up Trainz version actually has the live Steam scale. Now there are some irks here, there, and everywhere. As you can see, we've got floating track out here in the yard, which is a bit of an oddball. Don't know what's going on with that. But it's not a particularly hard thing to fix if one knows how to use the route editor. I also don't know what's going on with these like weird squares. Another one of those odd things. I'll have to play around with it and see if I can resolve. But overall, a pretty decent looking route. I mean, it does pretty much capture Strasburg. So let's get our train rolling here, because why not? In infamous rail news lately, the C&O 614 has been purchased by, or donated, I don't remember what, but either way it's being restored again. And if I'm not mistaken, I remember reading that it's supposed to go to Strasburg for its operational restoration, so we might end up seeing this bright green steam locomotive here, well, bright, this green and gold locomotive operating on Strasburg in the near future. But let's take a trip down to Strasburg, because why not? Before anybody says, yeah, you'd never see that. Norfolk and Western 611 did indeed operate on Strasburg trackage for a little bit. So, while yeah, it does kind of look entertaining, a big old road 484 out on the branch line, it has been done before. So we're going to do it today. Why not be a little different? We've all seen Strasburg. We've all seen Strasburg's typical motive power in the form of number 90 or 475, 89, 31. Why not be a little different? Now I will say, I am a little bit surprised at the speed on the route. It is 20. rather than 15. I believe the fired up Trainz version is 15 mile an hour across the entirety of the route, whereas this version it is, as you can see, 20. So that is a little bit different. Unexpected. Switch our tracks here. Something that is nice is the trackage that is used is a newer track that does have proper points and proper switch animations and whatnot, instead of the old-fashioned just kind of weird switches of old trains. So that is nice use. The scenery does look pretty nice overall. I mean, honest to gosh, for being freeware, it's done up really well. Now, I'm sure it looks a lot better with somebody that's played around with their graphics settings a bit more than I have. My computer getting up in its age, starting to get a little slow, so I've had to drop my graphics settings a few times across a few games, with Trainz being one of them. So I'm sure it looks a lot better with all your graphic settings maxed out and your saturation and color settings a little different, but my opinion, as it sits right now, it does seem kind of bright, kind of weirdly vibrant in a way that's not natural looking. But overall, still pretty nice. And for once, there's a little bit of life on a route. We got animals. The animals move. It's kind of nice. The roadways actually do have cars moving on them. AI cars. We got horses out here. This is something that we've never seen in any of the blasted Strasburg builds, but the Caboose Hotel over here is actually filled in. Actually has caboose. We have cars. We have cows. We have clutter. Could the clutter stand to be improved on? Absolutely. But it's there. It's at least started. We got people on the platform over here. Now, could have filled this in a little more with people, because every single time I've been to it's been pouring rain. Every time I've been to Strasburg. And, let's see, I've been to Strasburg, I think, 2-3 times. And it rained every time. And yet, still, it was packed busy. I've been at Christmas. I've been in the middle of July, which is wild. It rain no matter what. But it's been absolutely packed. So, Strasburg itself could stand to have more people. But out here at the farm, we got some people. Not a lot, but we do have some. As my assets slowly roll in. Once again, every time I've been around here, it's been busy. And as you can see, it doesn't look particularly busy. There's people here, couple here, couple out in the maze, but there's not a lot. There's not enough to really make it seem like it's a hopping attraction. So it could definitely stand to have some more characters, but at least there's some. That's more than I can say for most of my recent reviews. All of them have been completely dead and devoid of life, which is so unfortunate. One thing I do appreciate that I don't remember being on the fired up Trainz version is the track markers. I think the track markers are way better in this version. They're set up so that I could set up the AI so that if I wanted to run the hour or half hour consist, the AI could run the other, and vice versa. So that's a big thing with the AI setups in Trainz, is you gotta have good track markers. Now, unfortunately, I didn't notice any signal markings anywhere, which, yes, I know Strasburg doesn't have any signals technically. Not like big towering gantry signals. I understand that. On the flip side of things, these don't play well. And the reason they don't play well is you've got to use these in conjunction with the invisible markers. I put a brain dump for signals. You gotta use them in conjunction with the invisible signals. Otherwise, those signals perpetually will stay red always, and your AI will sit at them all day. So, unfortunately, the signaling on this route is a little bit janky. It's not quite correct for AI usage. Closer to what you would see on Strasburg, yes, but again, thinking in terms of Trainz functionality, it needs some more of the invisible signals placed in strategic spots to get the AI to function the way it should. Now, go ahead and throw this out here. This is my version. Some people, I don't know why this is with Trainz, but some people can go directly to the same link I got this version from, download said version, and their route will have stuff in it that's completely different than what I'm looking at. I don't know why Trainz does that, but it does. So, that is an unfortunate part of Trainz life. So you might have invisible markers in places that they're helpful. And your AI Trainz might run absolutely perfectly. And if it does, awesome. You're getting somewhere. But as it sits right now, for me, they don't. They don't work, like, at all. So, it is unfortunate. But it is what it is. And that is end-to-end on the Strasburg. On the SRC version of Strasburg, anyway. That is end-to-end. And overall, it is really, really, really nice for freeware. I mean, like, again, for not having to pay for a single one of the assets used in this route, it's pretty darn nice. Again, there's some weird little things, like the floating track here, and back there in the yard. But they're easily fixed. The things that are up with this version of the route are readily and easily fixed. I mean, it'd take you maybe an hour to fix all the issues that I'm personally having with the route. Again, you might download it, and for some weird reason your Trainz may download it correctly, completely through and through, or it might give you something completely different than what you see here. I can't help you with that. That is a Trainz problem. But for me personally, this is how it worked out. And overall, again, it works out pretty nice. But there are some things that I do still think could be improved on. I'm not a fan of this texture that they used here on the side of this mountain. It's too vibrantly green, too light. compared to your very noticeably darker trees. But that's kind of the whole route. I don't know why it is. Again, it might just be a weird setting for me. But everything seems just really, really, really light, really bright. But other than those issues, I really quite like it. I mean, my issue with fired up Trainz route that started all this today was that no longer shows up. That no longer shows up. All of this is gone. And it shows up as a missing dependency, even though the route worked just fine back when I did the first video. Couldn't say why, don't know why, but it doesn't. Matter of fact, I could have swore that these were the same assets used across most of the Strasburg versions as far as the buildings go, because they're freeware, but who knows? I recommend checking it out. Again, I'll put the link in the description. If you're wanting a Strasburg and you don't want to pay for essentially the same route, and you're like me and you look at the ones that are on the download station and go, goodness me, those are dated, this is an awesome alternative. And like I said, an hour of work and you can fix all the issues that pop up with it. And then, you know, play with it here and there, add some people around, add some more animals, really give it some life. And it really wouldn't take terribly long, because the route's all of 7-ish miles long, 7-8 miles long. It's not massive. Although one of these days I would love to see the Amtrak main line here done up a little bit, end to end, just kind of for giggles and squiggles, have a full-blown route built out of the Amtrak main line here, and then Strasburg is a fun Easter egg off the side. Future problems. But anywho, anyways, boy, somebody took the time. That man actually took the time to do these overhead wires. That is unfortunate. Fortunate for us, but man, I bet this drove him nuts. I have never once gotten overhead wires to work worth a crap at Trainz. But anywho, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely go check it out. I highly recommend it. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's a really, really a really nice route. Yeah, I know it's Strasburg. Strasburg gets played a lot as far as life goes. If you're a railroader, again, you've probably heard of Strasburg. You've probably seen the stuff. Strasburg is really the only heritage railroad that we've seen done up for any of the train simulators in nice detail, like a lot of attention actually paid to it. So it does kind of wear a bit. It's kind of one of those things where you're like, oh yay, yeah, another Strasburg. But when it's done up good enough to catch my eye, especially, I mean, everybody knows I'm a picky jack off, but when it's done up really, really nice, even a route that's gotten a ton of attention will still catch somebody's eye. So this one is definitely that. It looks nice, it runs nice, it's clean, it's crisp. Definitely go check it out, and I will see you guys next time.